Hello all, it's Melinda. This is week 4 of Scrapmazing September, and today is Sunday, and that would make it Scraplift Sunday with my collaboration with Eileen. And today our challenge is to Scraplift this Laura Whitaker page. This was based off a stuck sketch of hers, and this one I like the multiple photos, but I think I'm going to switch it so it goes this way. And my photos I made longer, so they're long and narrow. They're about 2 by 4. Thereabouts, I think. First day of school pictures of my youngest too, and I varied them a little bit. I have two of them together and then each of them singly. And I was inspired by my daughter's flower dress. I'm going to ignore my other daughter's dress. I didn't want to make them black and white because I wanted to see the colors. So I picked this paper by Dear Lizzie from her paper pad for the outline, the border. And this is a Webster's Pages Painted Passport Life is Good page. It's wood grain on the back with a Life is Good. Now I could use this one. That would work, but with the brick in the background, I didn't like it. So I tried to pick up this peachy pink color, and this seemed to work. I'm unsure if I will fussy cut some of these flowers to put kind of where the snowflakes are in here, or if I'll just use doilies and whatnot. I need to figure out some coordinating papers to maybe create some banners or some labels or something. And of course I got to figure out my title. But that's where I'm going to go with this one, I think. So without further ado, I will put you on fast forward and let you watch this happen. Thanks. I'm going to start out by cutting the photos, and I'm going to cut them very close. There is no white space around them because of the size I made them. So I'm going to end up backing them with white cardstock so I can get that white border. Now I noticed that when I do this that they are slightly different sizes, minuscule. So this is a good thing that we are varying the placement of these in a row, because that would drive me a little bit bananas. But I did struggle to get all the white space around these photos to be even, so some of it's a little off. But when they are put on the layout and they're not in a row, you really don't see it with all the other layers. I'm just going to cut this to, I believe, 11.5 by 11.5, and then I'm going to get out my Stampin' Up! One so I can gut this. And I set the ruler at 11, the paper at 11, and then the cutting blade at 11 on the slide ruler, and just cut basically 11 by 11 square out of the center. Leaves me with a little frame. I struggle with this. It always moves when I do that. And I think it was crooked. There we go. I do like that wood grain. I debated on overlapping them. See the tapping fingers, debating. I'm trying to find layers to add underneath the photos. This is the paper pad that I pulled that from. And as I'm doing this, I'm thinking I probably have enough scraps. I hate cutting into large papers for tiny pieces, so I'm going to go through my scrap bin and pull out colors in reds, yellows, aquas, and black and white. I'm going to pull out much more than I absolutely need and then whittle it down from there. Threw in some flare. These are Tim Holtz stickers. They're like plastic stickers. They're awesome. Got them on clearance at Joann's. So, as with the Eileen sketch, the layers are behind the photo. This is what I'm trying to achieve. I'm just going to put little bitty layers around each photo to kind of bring all the colors from the outside in. So I'm just setting it up there, cutting, trying to spread the color around. This layout actually comes together quite quickly. After the initial decisions were made, everything seemed to zoom along. And I'm trying not to fuss too much with these layers, but in the end I always do. Just wanted to have at least 2 with red, 2 with yellow, 2 with aqua, and 2 with black in them. And I didn't want to have to use all the same. So for the black on this one, I used the black and white polka dot, so it wouldn't be as heavy. And once I get them figured out, I'm going to staple them just to make sure that they don't move. I find that's the fastest way to get these layers to not move. 2 staples are better than 1, but 1 I can still slide them around if I need to. I decided to go with the doilies, and I end up also cutting the flowers as well to add on top of the doilies. What struck me is that these numbers are a circle, and I like that. So 3rd grade and 5th grade. I thought that would work nicely if I put them right about there. I just set them on some wax paper so that they don't stick where I don't want them to stick. I was unsure of where I was going to cut into this and which flowers would be the best. The one flower I cut looks like a fish to me with the way the brown leaves are on it. Not this one, the next one. But I figure you're not going to see most of it. I'm cutting very close, not leaving a white border around these. I do that sometimes, but this time there was a lot of overlapping things, and I needed not to have so many distractions on the cut piece, so I cut close so that I could basically cut it. It looks like a fish. I struggle with how to put it so it doesn't look like a fish. I decided that I want to bring some of the minty aqua color and also the yellow color. So I cut some of these little flowers off, and I'll pop them up and put them with the clusters. I'm sorry, this is kind of all off camera. My camera appears to be slightly at an odd angle than it normally is. I think I bumped it with my head in the last layout I did. Now the flare that's sitting there, don't actually make it on there because I'm using the numbers instead. Oh, I didn't actually. I was thinking that I put those on with foam underneath the photos, but I didn't. I think it's the staple that makes them look like they're slightly elevated when I'm looking at it. It was a little more difficult to keep everything together when things were sliding around, so I've got to get the photos down. Debating whether I only needed a half one, but I needed more. See, that didn't stick. Turning it again so that you can't tell that it looks like a fish. That is about how it's going to stay. I decide that I want to sprinkle with black to carry the black around, and I'm looking for a title, and there was this one on the sticker sheet, these words. It says, "This is life," and it changed the whole tune of the layout for me when I seen it. Instead of it just being a back to school layout, you know, first day kind of thing, it's the journaling kind of went a little bit differently because of "This is life." I didn't want it just to be the black title. I wanted to add something more to it. So I'm going to use these Teresa Collins tile stickers, and the rest of the title is "This is life, moving forward at the speed of light." And they're just going to kind of go underneath that one photo. Get it all set up, and then I know I sprinkle before I put. There we go. Here we're sprinkling. I'm leaving everything on there because I don't have a problem if the flowers get sprinkled on, kind of in the position that they are. And I'm being gentle so I don't get the photos. I'm gonna roll them off so they're not too wet. This is card pattern paper, so that kind of soaks in fast, so not a big need. And believe it or not, there is no gold on this layout. These are just little foam dots that I have laying around. I found them. I normally don't use foam dots. These are quite tall, which makes the little flower stand up a lot. I'm going to stick that right there. It tucks nicely between those photos underneath that one photo. But I have one more word than what will fit, so I decide light will go here. And I have to put a little piece of fun foam underneath the light because it bends. It's just hanging on the photo a little bit. I'm going to put my journaling up there, and then I had too much to say, so I put more journaling down underneath the photo. I say, my husband read my journaling and thought that it was a bit odd, but it kind of was what I was feeling at the time. It says, "Seems like yesterday I was saying when Meg goes to college, the girls will be 9 and 10. I think I can handle it. I guess I'm handling it, but wow, life is so different than I imagined it." His question was, how exactly did you imagine life to be? Are you disappointed? And I said no. So I kind of left it a little unended, which kind of bothered him. I'm a little melancholy about my oldest daughter going to college. So this went from being a back to school layout to being a little bit of a mommy sad layout. Just going to show you some close-ups live here, and there'll be plenty at the end that are still shots. I will leave a link below to Eileen's page. her layout today. I haven't seen it yet, but as always, they're amazing. If you like what you're seeing and you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I like to post a layout at least once a week. And with that, thank you. Bye.